Welcome to Tuesday Together. Today is actually our last episode of this season. But we're going to still make it good, right?
Yeah.
It's still going to be good.
Yeah.
Jia Hong, you have the article for today.
Yes, I think recently there's a lot of news on mental health and awareness of it. And I saw an article that talks about the long-tail mental health effects of COVID-19. Talks about 3 different phases. It's actually quite interesting. It talks about the first phase where it's the honeymoon phase, where we think everything's all right, everything's okay. And then there's the disillusionment phase, where you feel very helpless, very worthless, even very hopeless. And it says that the turning point for COVID-19 could be when a vaccine is found. Then we'll move on to the recovery phase. So we are now in the disillusionment phase of this mental health illness crisis that is or that will probably happen in the near future.
So we're at the point where we've been stuck in it long enough for this research to come out, right? That they realize that there is a longer term effect on all of us. And I was so sad when I heard Jia Hong say that we're actually in the disillusionment, the really tough phase until the vaccine come out. Any thoughts? Is your area of expertise, Bayu?
Well, what Jia Hong explained is what we are experiencing right now.
Sure.
Honestly speaking, there are many phone calls I received. They ask this kind of typical, "Oh, Pastor, are you sure we are going to, are you sure we are going to be okay? I felt very down. I felt very hopelessness." That is the word, hopelessness. They felt very hopeless. So I do support the idea, what the article said here. We are in this period of time where people feel very hopeless. They feel like, when is this going to end? When we will come back to church? When we will have all these things coming back to us? It's because they're looking back and say that, those kind of sense like, oh, it shouldn't happen.
Right.
That's kind of mindset.
Okay. Well, you have had a little bit more time with the article. So what are your view and analysis of what it's saying?
I think sometimes people, as humans, we all feel things, right? But sometimes we are not so aware yet. So when this COVID-19 pandemic happened, we feel stressed, we feel anxious. But some people, although they are stressed and anxious, they may not recognize it, or they may deny that. And I think that is an issue, because that's why people are suppressing it. And then sooner or later, this thing will blow up. And I think this is something we have to be very aware of. And also, it talks about many in the disillusionment phase is because they are uncertain. Right? We're uncertain of whether a vaccine will be found, or if a vaccine will be found, when will it be found? And is it 100% effective, or what is the effectiveness level? When can I travel again? When can I take off my mask? And things like that. We really hope for all this, but there's no answer. Nobody can give us an answer now. And I think this is a key issue of many people, that uncertainty.
So with most mental illness or addictions, I think the recognition and acceptance is a very big step.
Yep.
And I think it's the most difficult step for a lot of people, right? And what you're sharing is actually there is a adverse trauma that actually all of us are going through, and we may not recognize that it's doing violence to our emotions, our mental health, and all that. Any advice? What can we do?
Probably the short way I can say it's okay not to be okay. We need
Korean
to
drama or that.
That is very true among when members ask, "So Pastor, what should I do?" We tend to fight it, like, "Oh, I have to be okay all the time." Not necessarily. We are in the situation where nobody knows when it's going to end, like what the article said. But it's okay not to be okay.
Is it fair to say that we are actually going through grieving because we've lost the old way of life? Like, we all kind of know that from now on, life is going to be totally different, and there's a loss.
Yes.
Yeah. So when there's a loss, there's grieving, there's trauma, there's anxiety. We're learning to be okay that it's not going to be okay. Any encouragement?
I think we have to really keep in mind that throughout all this uncertainty in life, we have to recognize in the past life was also uncertain, but it wasn't brought to such a level yet. And now we can fully recognize the uncertainty of life, because accidents happen before or after COVID-19 and things like that. And I think we are taught in the Bible also that there are many prophets, many characters in the Bible who have undergone anxious moments, stressful moments. But in the end, something helped them, which is a reliance on God, who is our certain help. So I think this is something that we can hold on to, and we can seek Him when we are anxious and we are stressed.
So our certainty or our foundation of certainty is not based upon the circumstance or even how much control we have, but about the God that we can put our faith in.
Yes, exactly. I think we can recognize that God is in control. God is not controlling everything, but God is in control of the whole situation.
Nice.
Well, there's a good ending
Yep.
to put our faith again in our God. And our last episode, guys, anything to say to our listeners and watchers?
And I'd like to say it has been a joy and honor to be able to share a news article on a spiritual perspective. And we hope to see you again as this is the last episode of the season. Goodbye.
Well, for me, it's quite a short period. Guest appearance. I almost feel like I'm a cameo here. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for these few weeks and months, in fact. We hope that we have been able to provide a spiritual perspective on life to remind you that God is involved in our life no matter where we are, in every single moment. Take care, and we'll see you again next season.